the shot. Oh, it almost went in. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Big finish. Dreams to come true.
It is a packed house at the O'Connell Center on the campus of the University of Florida in Gainesville, with the #1 team in the nation. For the last 6 weeks, the Wildcats of Kentucky facing the Gators of Florida. Look at the SEC standings as these two teams close out the regular season. Kentucky 15-0, winning their 45th conference title, and then the #1 seed going into the SEC tournament in New Orleans, while Florida can reach the #2 seed with a win this afternoon. They have already sealed a first-round bye. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with Steve Kerr. When these two schools met earlier in Lexington, it was a 20-point blowout victory for Kentucky, and they certainly had their way, throwing lobs to the sensational freshman Anthony Davis.
Well, Kentucky has a huge size advantage in this game, Marvin. Davis, obviously, a major reason for that. He's going to look to dominate this game.
All right, Steve, what are your keys as we check out the AT&T Fast Analysis?
Well, Davis is so good at both ends of the floor, Marv. You see the putback offensively, but also defensively. Leads the country in blocks, almost 5 per game. So for Florida, they're going to have to make threes. They're the #1 three-point shooting team in the country. They make about 10 per game. Just 5 for 27, however, from 3 in that first matchup.
And Kentucky looking to finish the regular season at 30-1 against a Florida team that has struggled in recent weeks. Lineups and the opening tip in a moment. CBS Sports NCAA basketball coverage is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. The Capital One Venture Card, what's in your wallet? And by DiGiorno. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
In the throne, don't let me into my zone. Don't let me into my zone. I'm definitely in my zone.
Whoa, what a move. Rejected by Davis.
That's a big boy move right there, partner. In the last 20 years, among the Big Six conferences, there have been only 6 schools that have gone undefeated in conference play. Kentucky at 15-0 in the SEC. Wildcats did it 96 and 2003. Kentucky head coach John Calipari in his 3rd year with Kentucky, looking to join that list. As we take a look at the starting lineup for Kentucky, at the guards, Marcus Teague and Deron Lamb had that big game against Florida a month ago. On the front line, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, one of the best freshmen in the country, Terrence Jones, and perhaps the player of the year in college basketball, freshman Anthony Davis. Here's Florida, Irving Walker, who was honored earlier on Senior Day, with the sophomore Scott Wilbekin starting in the backcourt for Kenny Boynton. More on that later. And Bradley Beal, among the leading scorers in the SEC, makes it a 3-guard set. The 2 big men, Eric Murphy and Patrick Young. Head coach of the Gators in his 16th season, Billy Donovan. He's taken Florida to 2 national championships and all 3 appearances in the championship game. And the officiating crew, Tony Green, lead official, along with Doug Schaus and Doug Sherman. Florida has never hosted a #1 team at a game here at the O'Connell Center. This arena goes back some 30 years. Last time Florida played a #1 team at home, it was a 88-61 loss to Kentucky back in February of '78. And that was at the old Florida gym. So Kentucky in control. This is Terrence Jones.
Well, Florida starts out in a man-to-man. We're going to see them change defenses an awful lot. They're a team that likes to press. Frequently, question against Kentucky, can you put on that full-court press, because you've got Anthony Davis at the other end. Easy to throw the ball over the top, so we'll see what Florida decides to do.
This is Bradley Beal, gets it down low to Eric Murphy. And back come the Wildcats. Broken up by Beal. We mentioned that Kenny Boynton not in the starting lineup for Florida for the first time this season because he was late to a team meeting. So the sophomore Scott Wilbekin makes his first start of the year. Boynton, Florida's leading scorer, averaging 17 a game and shooting 44% from 3.
And he's going to be key here, as are all the Florida guards, Marv, as Jones gets his second hoop right away. And already Kentucky up 4-0. I think a quick start here for Florida is imperative, particularly for the senior Irving Walker as we see the Jones lay-in. But they got to keep the crowd in it. They've got to get off to a quick start. We talked about in the open, they've got to make threes. Walker in particular is a player who really feeds off of made shots. He's not a traditional pass-first point guard. When he makes shots early, it seems to get the entire team going.
Irving Walker 0 for 7 in that earlier game in Kentucky. Murphy up top. Young with the hook.
Kentucky playing a switching man-to-man. Davis all over the court. Finally ends up after 2 switches on Young, and that's maybe Young's only advantage physically, just going at him strength-wise.
A strong move once again by Jones. It's been all Terrence Jones for the Wildcats here at the start. He's a sophomore out of Portland, Oregon, averaging 12 points, 7 rebounds.
Going right at Eric Murphy from the perimeter.
This is Beal running out. Bradley Beal averages just under 15 a game. And it's tipped home. Jones with all 8 points for Kentucky.
Quick start for him coming off of a slow night, slow week actually for Jones. So good to see him getting going offensively. This is a team that's really well balanced. They have 5 guys who average between 10 and 14 points.
Patrick Young with his second field goal. Kentucky 29-1. The one loss at Indiana December the 10th on a 3-pointer at the buzzer. They opened the season at 8-0. Since then, they've won 21 straight. The wrong line from downtown. And a terrific game against Florida. Back in early February, 18 points and hit 4 of 5 from beyond that 3-point line. And meanwhile, Steve, Kentucky has hit 5 of its first 6 shots.
Including that 3 from Lamb. And you talk about Florida being such a great 3-point shooting team, but how about Kentucky? They shoot almost 39% from beyond the arc.
Murphy not able to hit. Florida's lost its last 2 games with Georgia and Vanderbilt. They dropped 4 of the last 7. The last game this past Tuesday, losing on senior night in Nashville. Here is Jones with the deep shot. Irving Walker and Scott Wilbekin, a couple of point guards that actually you have to call them interchangeable. Walker more of a shooting guard in this lineup.
Really, all of Florida's guards are combo guards as Wilbekin turns it over underneath. And they really share the ball handling duties between Walker, Boynton, and Wilbekin.
Marcus Teague too strong on that shot. Here come the Gators on a break. Wildcats get back. Walker! Irving Walker!
Our bad shots at one end always lead to transition at the other. Now, that's a bad shot by Teague. Kentucky has so many advantages in this game. Teague doesn't need to launch a 20-footer. Keep moving the ball. Get it to Jones. Get it to Davis. You're going to get something better than that. Then you'll have better transition defense.
Anthony Davis coming up short. Kidd-Gilchrist had it knocked away. Davis is right there.
Just the length is incredible to watch. This is a guy who was 6'3" 3 years ago as a sophomore in high school, and he has just blossomed those long arms.
Murphy from long range hits the 3. That's quite a growth spurt.
Yeah, not bad.
6'3" to 6'10". I would think you have to make a number of adjustments in your life. Forget about basketball.
Yeah, how about your wardrobe?
Davis over Young. And here's it from this crowd to the air ball.
But you see where he needs to go physically, strength-wise.
Walker on the right. It's tipped home by Patrick Young, the sophomore from Jacksonville.
And this is what Florida has to do to generate offense. In the half court, it's going to be difficult. So they've got to free themselves up for threes and get out in transition.
The Kentucky lead is 1. We played 5.5 minutes. Lamb gets inside. Forced into a tough shot by Wilbekin. Timeout called by Kentucky.
Well, Kentucky off to the quick start behind Terrence Jones. Couple of nice moves for him using that left hand, but Florida getting its crowd involved, knocking down threes. They're within one.
Back in Gainesville, a frantic pace here at the start. Kentucky with a 1-point lead on Florida. Kentucky, #1 for the last 6 weeks as we look at their tournament profile record of 29-1, 15-0 in the conference. What about Florida? Where do you see them headed? They have certainly struggled as of late.
They have, but I think they're probably a solid 4 or 5 seed, depending on what happens the rest of the way. This would obviously be a huge win in terms of their tournament seeding, but I like their non-conference schedule. They lost at Ohio State, at Syracuse. Some good wins against Arizona, Texas A&M, Florida State. I think the committee really likes when teams go out and play people in the non-conference. In fact, when you talk about Kentucky, we saw that RPI of 2. To me, that's a direct result of only scheduling one non-conference true road game. That was the game at Indiana that they lost at the buzzer.
Florida is 16th this week in the rankings. Their highest ranking was number 7. That was back in early February. Then they dropped 4 of 7. Nice tip by Patrick Young.
Penetration from these Florida guards has led to a couple of those tip-ins for Young. Kentucky's got to guard the ball better.
And Florida goes to the trap. Kyle Wiltshire has come on for the first time for Kentucky, and Kenny Boynton, usually in the starting lineup, is now on the floor for the first time. This is Darius Miller. The senior and considered a backup point guard has been a starter for quite some time at Kentucky, so you know how deep this team is. Davis coming over for his first block shot. He averages just under 5 blocks per game, which leads the nation. Wiltshire on the run. Kept alive. Wiltshire not able to connect on a putback. Florida down by 1.
They've gone to an extremely small lineup of 4 guards and Patrick Young. Normally, this is where William Get would play. He has injured his foot and is out for the season. Teague's lost for Florida, so they're going to have to rely on this tiny lineup and use their speed, but Kentucky so versatile defensively.
Off the turnover. Lamb. Kidd-Gilchrist on the follow.
Well, between Kidd-Gilchrist and Miller, Kentucky has a couple of jack-of-all-trades who can guard anybody, who can handle the ball in transition and in the half court. And so it's tough to go small against Kentucky. They can match up with just about anybody.
Young off the double. Boynton fires for 3. But boxed out by Wiltshire.
Just switching constantly man-to-man for Kentucky.
Miller avoiding the contact from Wilbekin. So Darius Miller with his second field goal, leading to a timeout. Let's take a look at our Applebee's neighborhood favorites. Well, in 1996, Kentucky became the first modern-day SEC team to finish conference play with an undefeated record, and they went on to win it all. And the 2002-2003 Wildcats were the second, winning their regular season finale of Florida to finish 16-0 in SEC play.
Such a difficult feat in any conference, particularly in the SEC. But here's how you mentioned, Marv, that 96 team went on to win the national championship. The 2003 club lost in the Elite Eight. I think if you look at Kentucky this year, you try to find weaknesses. The only legitimate one, I think, on the court, you could say they don't have much depth. They pretty much only play 6 guys. And so if they get into foul trouble, particularly Davis, like he did at Indiana, maybe that's an issue, but they're so well balanced. The only thing I would have liked to have seen, and we talked about it briefly, I think they should have gone out and scheduled some tougher non-conference games. I'm not sure if they've been in enough close games to the point where they'll be comfortable come NCAA tournament time and they have to go down the stretch in a close one.
Bradley Beal, Irving Walker goes over the top and out of bounds. And we will step away with 11 and a half left in this first half. Coming up next, a tournament trip is up for grabs as Illinois State takes on Creighton in the Missouri Valley Conference Championship presented by State Farm, and later Jared Sullinger and the Buckeyes will battle Draymond Green and the Spartans in a Big Ten matchup. Steve, a lot of people on the bubble do not want to see Illinois State coming away with a victory over Creighton.
That's for sure. The upset over Wichita State last night. Wichita State and Creighton both pretty much in already. So, yeah, every bubble team in America rooting hard for Creighton.
For the third straight year, John Calipari put together the nation's #1 recruiting class. Plus, he has 3 quality players who did return: Terrence Jones and Deron Leonard and Darius Miller. And as you can expect, as you see the trap once again, a host of NBA executives and scouts on hand here today in Gainesville.
Well, I think there's a pretty good chance that John Calipari will lose every player in his rotation this year. So we may be looking at the same scenario next season where he's playing all freshmen.
Oh, beautifully done. Kidd-Gilchrist with the setup for Anthony Davis.
That's why I love Kidd-Gilchrist. The recognition, the feel. I mean, he made that flash into the paint, got the ball, didn't even have to think about it. He knew exactly where Davis was.
8-0 run for the Wildcats. Murphy trying to post up. Beal. This is Mike Rosario who just checked in, giving it back to Murphy. They tie him up and take it away. And then it's deflected out. Last touch by Kentucky.
Here's the play we're talking about. The flash on that double team. Gilchrist knows all he has to do is put it up on that rim, and this was something that Billy Donovan talked about yesterday at practice, trying to eliminate the free run, as he called it, of Davis. But so difficult to do when you're in a zone. And Florida really has to stay in man-to-man if they're going to keep a body on Davis. But a zone is such a big part of Florida's arsenal.
Walker's pass picked off. Kidd-Gilchrist putting the speed on, but came up short. Rosario with the loose ball. Lost the dribble, taken away by Jones. Kidd-Gilchrist with the feed. Teague scores.
Boy, are they fast at every position. Quick hands, quick feet, and they share the ball.
Kentucky has opened up a 23-14 lead. Rosario forced it.
Oh, man.
10-0 run by Kentucky. Last touch by the Wildcats. It'll be Florida ball. Well, this week Dave's got Howard Stern, Jack Hanna's Animals, for the Big Bang Theory, Simon Helberg, and tomorrow it's Woody Harrelson, and catch Craig Ferguson only CBS. Marv Albert with Steve Kerr at the O'Connell Center in Gainesville. Better than 12,000 turning out. Beal with a strong move that went 1-on-3.
Well, you get a good idea here early on why Kentucky leads the country in field goal percentage defense. 36% they hold their opponents to. They switch everything. They're quick. Their guards are strong enough to guard bigs, and their bigs are quick enough to guard smalls. So there's just never an advantage offensively when you go against this club.
John Calipari and his staff did quite a job getting a group of freshmen to buy into playing defense first. Beautiful one-bounce pass from Teague, setting it up for Terrence Jones, who is off to the fast start.
That was the first thing that Calipari told us yesterday at practice, was just how unselfish his guys are. You know, Anthony Davis, probably the player of the year in the country, has taken the 5th most shots on this club.
Patrick Young turned away on the rejection. Good ball movement. Lamb for 3. And it's handled by Murphy.
And you can see the ball just moves to whoever's got the opening.
Oh, what a move here. Mike Rosario, the transfer from Rutgers by way of Jersey City with a beautiful fake to get to the rim.
Calipari furious with Deron Lamb, who didn't sprint back to the lane. And that allowed Rosario to get right to the rim.
That stops a 12-0 run for the Wildcats. Florida with their first points in 5.5 minutes. Just under 8 remaining first half. Teague. Brown wanted to travel. And the long-range shot by Kyle Rozier, who's a 40% shooter from downtown.
He's kind of a game changer for this club. You got all the speed and athleticism. And defensively, they're so good. Now all of a sudden you get a 6'9" guy shooting threes. Gets in a whole other dimension.
Rosario draws the foul. So he will head to the line. Only the second foul called in this first half.
Oh, we've seen a lot of this season, Marv. Backdoor cuts, lobs, all kinds of finishes at the rim.
Well, Kentucky opening up by hitting 13 of 24 from the field and going at a frenetic pace. They have a 28-16 lead over Florida. Marv Albert along with Steve Kerr. And what a start for Terrence Jones. Scored the first 8 points, 5 of 6 from the field.
Remember, he was just 2 for 7 for 4 points the first time these two clubs met. So he came out awfully aggressive, trying to take advantage of his speed against Eric Murphy. We saw him go early to the rim, and then defensively, a block, a tip in there. Jones really coming out with a lot of fire here today.
Number 1 ranked Kentucky looking to make a statement as they head first to the SEC tournament, which begins Thursday in New Orleans. Both Kentucky and Florida do have a bye in that first round.
And I think Kentucky, it doesn't really matter what happens today or next week in the SEC tournament. They're obviously a solid number 1 seed. I think their main concern is they want to just be playing well and healthy going into the NCAAs.
Mike Rosario, in his first season at Florida, transferred from Rutgers, sat out last year as a redshirt. As a freshman, he led Rutgers in scoring. And he did it as a sophomore, averaging 16 points each season.
Not often you see that.
No.
He averages 17 points a game for a couple of years and then transfers. But he said he wanted more structure, more discipline in his life. He played for Bob Hurley at St. Anthony's.
Well, they get it down in a hurry off the pressure. And again, it's Terrence Jones.
And that's the problem for Florida. If they don't force a turnover in the backcourt with that press, Kentucky just attacks and gets right to the rim.
Casey Prater has come on for the first time for the Gators. Morton setting it up. Murphy played by Davis. Beal able to split his way through, and the foul is called. It's a blocking foul.
Kentucky foul is on number 25, Marcus Teague.
Teague called for the foul. Well, you can run your brackets online for free with Bracket Manager. Invite your friends. I think we'll provide profits for you, Steve. Fill out brackets, and Bracket Manager does the rest. Sign up at cbssports.com/bracket.
That's why I go online to do it. You always find a friend there. Marv, you mentioned the NBA scouts here today. Many of them here to see Brad Beal, the freshman from St. Louis. Jay Billis last week called him a future Ray Allen. And talk about high praise. And I think that has a lot to do with his physical makeup. You look at him, just a smooth stroke, but also the maturity. Great student, wants to be a doctor someday. He's a kid who's really a leader on this club. Billy Donovan hoping he'll stick around.
Oh, what a move by Marcus Teague, freshman from Indianapolis, the brother of Atlanta Hawk point guard Jeff Teague. And pass is saved, then deflected out. Last touch by Miller. of Kentucky. John Calipari likes the hustle, likes the deflections.
Returning to the game for Kentucky, number 14, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Now, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who was on the bench for a brief rest, comes back. Patrick Young returns for Florida, coming on for Eric Murphy. The 12-0 run, breaking things open. Kentucky up by 12. Coming up on 6 minutes to go in the first half. Beal for 3. Rebounded by Kidd-Gilchrist, and then it's deflected out. Last touch by Young of Florida.
Every possession a difficult one for Billy Donovan's team. Every shot challenged, every offensive set is disrupted by the switching man-to-man of Kentucky, and they're so quick and active that you never quite feel comfortable with the ball.
Pressure by Wilbekin as Lamb came across. Lamb and Teague in the backcourt with Jones, Kidd-Gilchrist, and Davis on the front line. Davis puts the hold on Young. Anthony Davis averaging 14 and 10, along with nearly 5 blocks a game. Freshman out of Chicago, who has a chance to be not only the SEC Freshman of the Year, I think that's a no question, but the Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Nice move by Young as he banks it home off the glass.
Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, he could get every award there is, but that move right there showed how good he can become offensively. I think he's just scratched the surface. We talked about the fact that he was a guard in high school just 3 years ago and sprouted and has become a center, but he's got guard skills.
Teague working on Walker. Marcus Teague. 6 points for Teague.
And I think the X factor on this club, he's come a long way since early in the season when he was taking bad shots and constantly turning the ball over. But he's gotten much more refined with his game. Decision-making has improved, and so has the jump shot.
He'll try to shovel it to Young. And a timeout is called by Kentucky. Apparently a foul was also called on the play. Wildcats taking the timeout. Now they say no foul. And we'll be right back with Kentucky in front by 14. Coming up on AT&T at the half, join Greg Gumbel, Greg Anthony, and Seth Davis for all the scores and highlights and the latest NCAA tournament news, all coming up on AT&T at the half. Kentucky in possession off that loose ball, and they got the timeout. Jones will put it in play.
How about the luxury of having your 2-guard and Deron Lamb be able to handle the ball against pressure without any problems whatsoever.
Teague. Kept alive by Jones. Terrence Jones with a tremendous first half. He now has 14 points. He's hit 7 of 8, primarily from in close.
This is the type of activity level John Calipari wants out of Jones every night. He tends to kind of fall asleep at times, but tonight totally engaged, even challenging that shot from Walker, although he gets it to go down.
Irving Walker out of Brooklyn, a star at Christ the King High School, helped lead them to the Catholic High School Championship as a junior, and again off the pressure, Kentucky forced to take a timeout. Final game of the regular season for both Kentucky and Florida. Wildcats 29-1, unbeaten in the SEC, winning their 41st conference title. They have won their last 21. while the Gators have gone the other way recently, dropping 4 of their last 7 games. Bad pass saved by Davis. And Marcus Teague will reset. Davis trying to go at Young. Coming up on 3 minutes left in this first half. That's a 3-point attempt by Kidd-Gilchrist. A long 3-pointer. Kenny Boynton, third leading scorer in the history of Florida high school basketball. And their leading scorer, 17 a game.
And a great sequence for Florida. Marv, man-to-man defense at one end, and that leads to the transition hoop at the other. Florida staying with that man-to-man.
Whoa! Lamb, who was in trouble, flinging the hook. Florida beating Kentucky down court and take advantage. Boynton hit a 3 just a moment ago.
And that's been the big weakness, if there has been one for Kentucky in this first half. Transition defense. They've fallen asleep a couple of times and allowed the Gators to get out ahead of them.
Kentucky by 10. Rimmed out. Here comes Walker. Boynton. That was a 3-point attack. And the follow by Patrick Young.
Well, it's their best offense for Florida. Once they get into the half court against Kentucky, they're having all kinds of trouble. But when they're able to run and get off quick threes, Kentucky's rebounding is all out of whack, and that's allowed Young to have 3 tip-ins now right at the rim.
12 points, 5 rebounds for Patrick Young. 10-2 spurt for Florida. Foul is charged to Beal.
I think the Gators have found their footing, Marvin. It's come from their man-to-man defense because it's led to some transition hoops, and they're finding their way.
Yes, we are approaching March Madness similar to last year. You will see every game in its entirety on all 4 networks. That includes CBS, TNT, TBS, True Network. Coverage started with the NCAA Selection Show next Sunday and continues all month long. It's a 40-32 lead for Kentucky. Florida making a run here after that 12-0 by the Wildcats. And a look at your projected #1 seed.
Well, and everybody's #1 seeds for sure, Kentucky and Syracuse, regardless of what happens here in conference tournament play next week. Right now, I think Kansas deserves to be there, 26-5, Big 12 champs, and North Carolina coming off of that demolition of Duke last night. Of course, a lot can happen, Marv, with the conference tournament play. Michigan State, should they go on and win the Big Ten tournament and maybe have Kansas or Carolina falter? They could sneak in, even Missouri, potentially. But right now, those look like the 4 best teams to me.
Kentucky 19 of 33 from the field, just under 58%. Florida coming on after the slow start. They've hit 12 for 25. They're a shade under 50. And the Wildcat lead is down to 8 with a minute and 20 left, first half. Kidd-Gilchrist trying to get it inside, and it's picked off. Here comes Boynton. They push it. Murphy open for 3.
Ooh, that was halfway down. Crowd would have erupted had that gone in.
Final minute, first half. Jones trying to back his way, rebounded by Boynton. 9-second differential as this first half comes to a close. The block by Davis. That's his second.
And Kentucky will hold for the final shot of the half. You can't do that. You can't drive in on Davis and put up an off-balance leaner And you just have to know that if you're going, and I guess it takes the experience of playing against him, but Davis is going to block that every time.
A half-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Wildcats set up for a final shot of the half. Here's Miller. Down to 2, down to 1. Walker.
That's the end of the first half.
Florida ends the half on a 10-2 run over the last 4 minutes of play. So that is the end of the first half. The score, Kentucky 40, Florida 32. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in our New York studio. CBS Sports NCAA basketball coverage is sponsored by Applebee's new 2 for $20 menu. Now with the flavors of Bourbon Street. Craftsman, trust in your hands. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Look at the Tim Tebow statue outside of Ben Hill Griffin Stadium here in Gainesville. At the hotel earlier, Steve buying 8 Tebow T-shirts and trying to get a deal out of it. That was embarrassing. Marv Albert with Steve Kerr, 8-point lead for the number 1 ranked Kentucky Wildcats. Florida hanging in with that 10-2 run right at the end of the half. But the guy who set the pace for Kentucky, Terrence Jones, the sophomore out of Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, we heard Seth Davis talk about it at halftime. When he plays like this, Kentucky is virtually unbeatable. And he was terrific at both ends of the floor. Really active defensively with 2 blocks, 2 steals. And then at the offensive end, they had a couple of good quick moves early, then some putbacks, some lobs. We'll take a look at the first half stats.
The Coke Zero first half stats.
About 4 turnovers for Kentucky. Florida hanging in there. Greg Anthony mentioned it. Just 1 free throw attempt for the Wildcats, and that was important. The other thing I think happened for Florida was they tried to press early, and Kentucky just blew through the press and got several easy hoops at the rim. When Florida stuck to their pressure man-to-man, straight man-to-man, no more zone, no more press, they really started to defend Kentucky and then get out in transition. I think we'll see more of that in the second half.
Fast-paced first half. Both clubs going to end, and only 4 fouls in all called in that first half. Walker comes up short for Florida. The follow missed by Murphy, and he is fouled.
Kentucky foul is number 14, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Kidd-Gilchrist called for the foul.
There will be rebounding opportunities for Murphy and Patrick Young. We saw Young come up with several in the first half. But when Kentucky switches and Davis ends up on Walker, challenging a shot from 25 feet away, obviously there will be rebounding lanes, and Murphy taking advantage there.
Murphy, 72% free throw shooter. Junior from South King Street, Rhode Island. Did not shoot well in that earlier game at Kentucky, just 3 of 11. 20-point victory for the Wildcats in Lexington. Kentucky with the lineup at the start of the game. Terrence Jones, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Anthony Davis up front, Deron Lamb, Marcus Teague at the guard. Davis played by Young, goes to the jump hook. Wow.
Doesn't get a lot of those opportunities, but when he does, you see the potential. Still needs to put on a lot of weight and some strength down in his waist area and his legs, because he gets pushed off the block frequently, but great touch on that hook.
8 points, 5 rebounds for Davis, and a reaching foul. So we got a couple of quick fouls called here after very few in that first half.
And here's that last bucket. Patrick Young, a very strong defender. And yet Davis just easily turns and shoots that jump hook over the top.
Second foul is called on Teague. Irving Walker, watched by Marcus Teague. This is Beal for 3. Bradley Beal, the freshman from St. Louis, averaged 32 a game as a senior at Chaminade Prep in St. Louis.
And that switching man-to-man from Kentucky has worked, but the Wildcats have to get up into shooters as Davis gets fouled going to the basket. It's easy when you switch man-to-man. It's easy sometimes to just lay back, as we see Kidd-Gilchrist do right there, and Beal takes advantage. When you play a switching man-to-man against a shooting team like Florida, you have to be active on that handoff. You've got to get right into their body, force them to put the ball on the floor.
Foul by Patrick Young. Anthony Davis at the line. 71% free throw shooter. He was considered the #1 overall prospect in the high school class of 2011 and has fulfilled all the expectations, although he can get even better at the offensive end.
No question, especially as he gets stronger. He's got all the skills.
Young with the basket and a hit to the line. Florida racing down court, and they caught Kentucky.
And I'm surprised to see the Wildcats picking up full court, because if you break the press, you got plenty of avenues to drive to the hoop. Kentucky's so good in the half court, but in the open court, Florida has some advantages speed-wise, and they take advantage of there. I think Kentucky needs to stay back at half court and pick up man-to-man from there.
Jones on the foul. Young just a 61% free throw shooter, but has a three-point play, and he has 15 points, so Florida within 4.
And the home crowd sensing the momentum.
Early minutes, second half. Nice spin move. Terrence Jones with 16 points.
He's picked on that matchup throughout the game. Jones a little too quick for Murphy on that elbow.
Young rejected by Davis.
The only way to get that shot over him is to go into his body. When you go away from him like Young did there, you have no chance.
Beal in heavy traffic. Wilberton had the shot, but gave it to Murphy. Missed on a 3. Teague rejected. Beal got a piece of it. Here come the Gators. Beal down low. Saw the open man, Murphy.
What a great pass from Beal. Once again, Kentucky in transition, getting lost. Anytime Florida can get out and run, good things have happened.
The crowd on its feet here at O'Connell Center in Gainesville. Florida, in recent weeks, has had its problems. They dropped 4 of their last 7, but they're giving the #1 team a game here this afternoon. Running one-hander way off. Young bringing the Gators within 2.
Transition defense has been awful for Kentucky. Yet another missed assignment. Young taking advantage, and this crowd loving it.
Florida has trailed by as many as 16. They've outscored Kentucky 22-8 going back to late in the first half.
And I think for the first time, they really believe they can win. They're starting to play with a lot of confidence now. Beal knocking down the jumper. Murphy in transition. Patrick Young running right past the Kentucky defense. The Wildcats out of sorts here in the second half defensively. Now the crowd's in it. Billy Donovan's team believes they can win, and that's half the battle against Kentucky.
A win this afternoon for the Gators would give them second seed in the SEC tournament if Kentucky wins, and Kentucky obviously is #1. Florida will have the bye in that first round, but they would be the 4th seed.
And the 2 seed, obviously, you avoid Kentucky until the final. You get that 4 seed, you're looking at them in the semis.
2-point Kentucky lead. They're in possession.
Where did they go when they need a hoop? Under duress.
Darius Miller is the man they went to as he comes in off the bench. And Miller with his third field goal for 6 points.
And really good execution. Very calm and patient. Little dribble handoff. Kentucky doing a nice job getting a good shot, quieting this crowd down.
Timeout is taken by Kentucky. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA men's basketball will continue after this message and a word from your local station. Next Sunday, find out who's in, who's out, who's playing whom, and when. Get it first and get it fast. Exclusively from CBS Sports on the NCAA Basketball Championship Selection Show.
Harvard looking at some of the sharks in the water, so to speak, in the NCAA tournament. Long Beach State, a team that played a murderer's row non-conference schedule. They're going to be ready for talented teams. Washington really coming on strong in the Pac-12. New Mexico, Steve Alford's team, excellent defensively. And then, how about the VCU Rams? Here we go again. Shaka Smart's team. Well, deja vu all over again, as Yogi Berra once said. They may have to win their conference tournament. Drexel currently leading the conference, but VCU having another terrific year. They can really get after you defensively.
Here is Young, rebounded by Davis. Did you coin the catchy phrase, "cross in the water"?
That was me, yeah. I stayed up last night for about an hour. Did you like it?
Solid. 4.5 gone by in the second half. Kidd-Gilchrist coming up short, rebounded by Young. Young working down low.
And once again, we see what happens when Florida has to run their half-court offense. They really don't have a single advantage offensively. Young, no way can he shoot over the top of Davis.
Darius Miller with the runner. One-handed by Eric Murphy.
And Florida holding its own on the glass here, Mark.
Things have slowed down here in the half court. Oh, rejected by Davis. That's his fourth block shot. Boynton.
Boy, what a great play from Young, though. The offensive board, that's a shooter's best friend. When your big man gets an offensive rebound, the defense is scattered, and he quickly throws out to you. You got a wide open look. That one, Boynton should have had.
Kidd-Gilchrist. Florida gets down court in a hurry, but Kentucky able to recover.
I'm sure Calipari talked to his team the last couple of timeouts about transition defense. Kentucky doing a better job here now.
Bradley Beal just 1 of 6 from the field. Fires for 3. And back comes Boynton.
The slower the pace, the better in this game for Kentucky, Marvin. We've seen as soon as it's become a half-court game, the Wildcats have no physical advantage offensively with matchups really at both ends.
Davis with room. Kidd-Gilchrist on the follow, and he is fouled. Tonight on 60 Minutes, it crippled an Iranian nuclear facility, but it was not a bomb. It was a computer virus. A spy story like no other on 60 Minutes. Tonight, only CBS. Foul on Beal. His second. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, 75% free throw shooter.
He's really something, Marv, Kidd-Gilchrist. You don't really know quite what he is, guard, forward, whatever. He just does everything. Offensive rebound, he handles the ball in transition and against the break. Excellent defensive player, kind of a glue player for Kentucky.
This highlight game is right on December 31st against Louisville. He had 24 points, career high 19 rebounds.
And he's currently guarding Beal. And Beal having his hands full, trying to get away from
Walker with a little cut to the right. The ball is deflected out and last touched by the Gators.
Kentucky's done a nice job, Marv. After that timeout, it was 46-44. The crowd was in it. But they've taken care of the ball. They've gotten it back to a half-court game. And they're trying to wear down Florida again.
Davis for three. Anthony Davis, 1 of 10 from beyond the three-point line coming into this afternoon. A three for Eric Murphy. Murphy has 10 points.
Big shot there from Murphy. They needed that one. Just trying to hang in here. How about Davis? You mentioned on just his second three all season. Made his first one last week.
How about that behind-the-back move? That's from his days as a 6'3" guard, 2 years ago. That's incredible.
It is amazing.
Davis again for three. And John Calipari says, now wait a second, let's settle down here. Nice fake by Walker.
Well, Murphy couldn't get a grasp on that pass. But Boynton's going to get fouled going to the hoop. Once again, Florida frantically trying to find a basket in transition. But Boynton bails them out with a nice drive to the hole. He'll have 2 free throws when we come back.
CBS Sports NCAA basketball coverage is sponsored by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. Buffalo Wild Wings, wings, beer, sports. And by the all-new Buick Verano, unexpected luxury in a car this size. Florida continuing to hang in. They've had a couple of pretty impressive runs, but Kentucky with a 7-point lead. Tonight on CBS, an exhausting challenge leaves teams struggling in South America. Don't miss a new amazing race. That's tonight only CBS. The Wildcats shooting 52% on 24 of 46. Terrence Jones with 16. Anthony Davis coming on. He now has 13.6 rebounds and 5 block shots. They made a statistical change in terms of block shots. He now has 5. And Patrick Young, the high man for Florida, with 17. Gators at 17 of 42 from the field. Kenny Boynton, who for the first time this season was not in the starting lineup because he was late to a team meeting, so sophomore Scott Livingston made his first start of the season.
You can see how important Boynton is offensively for this club, because with Kentucky switching everything, he's really the one Gator who I think can penetrate into the lane and create a shot or get fouled like we saw a moment ago.
There's Lamb for 3. I should say Marcus Teague on that 3-point shot.
He's improved dramatically with that perimeter shot, Mark.
And the call is away from the ball. Well, the Florida Gators, if they can pull off the surprise, would clinch a number 2 seed in the upcoming SEC conference tournament. With a loss to Kentucky, they drop to number 4, but they do, as we mentioned, have a bye in that first round. Teague on the foul, that's his 3rd. 9 minutes to play in the second half.
A win here would also bump up a seed or 2 for the NCAAs as Murphy gets all the way to the rim and scores.
It has been a strong game for Murphy. He now has 12 points. 9 of the 12 in the second half.
And now Kentucky was tested recently at Vanderbilt, a veteran team in a tough environment, and they responded. They scored the last 8 points in the game, really took over that game. And we're going to see them and how they respond to this environment as well.
Oh, the steal by Beal. Boynton gives it right back to Walker. And a foul is called. It's on Kentucky. It's on Lamb.
But the Wildcats doing a much better job of getting back defensively now. Really flying to the ball. But Florida hanging in there. And they've had some key contributions from a number of players. How about Murphy? Normally a three-point shooter. He uses that threat of the three-point shot with a little pump fake and drive. Gets all the way to the rim.
Scotty Wilbekin back on the floor. He started the game instead of Kenny Boynton. Boynton with a nice pass. Beautiful setup for Patrick Young.
That was fantastic. Davis tried to come over and help on that pick and roll, and he lost contact with Young, and a perfect pass.
19 points for Young. The Kentucky lead is down to 4. Foul against Florida.
Here's the play we were talking about. Watch Davis come out and hedge on this pick and roll, but that allows Young a free rein. And I think Davis, when they watch the tape here, Coach Cal will tell him, you don't have to be so close on Boynton and Walker. You know, you can stay back. They're not big enough to really shoot over the top of you, so give them a little more space. Stay in the body of Patrick Young and that rolling big man.
Foul on Wilbekin, 13 foul on Florida. Kentucky has 6, so one more, and it's a one-on-one. Oh, beautiful move.
Are you kidding me? The left hand.
Davis now has 15 points.
Well, you just get these glimpses of his offensive potential. He's going to be something in a few years. He's already something.
Kentucky up by 6. Young, 21 points for the sophomore out of Jacksonville.
That was his best move of the day, Marv. A left-handed jump hook over the top of Davis. I wasn't sure he could get that shot off.
Last season, he was the first player off the bench for Billy Donovan. Now as a sophomore in the starting lineup. Teague kept alive by Davis, who's come on here in the second half.
I'm impressed with Kentucky's execution offensively under duress. They're very patient. They're taking great care of the ball here all day, and they're getting good shots.
Walker met by Davis. Shot clock down to 7. They're counting it down here. Fourth shot by Boynton. And the ball back to Kentucky.
Florida tried to go with a small lineup very briefly, putting Beal in at the 4, taking Murphy out. And Billy Donovan did not like what he saw. Just too tough of a matchup physically, so he got Mark Murphy right back onto the floor.
Wildcats at Kentucky at 29-1, number 1 ranked team in the nation for the last 6 weeks. Jones for 3. Terrence Jones with 19 points.
And a huge shot.
These are guys bulked up at 12 pounds. John Calipari says Terrence in the best shape of his life. They say 12 pounds of bulk. They never say 12 pounds of flat. Right? And we know that is bulk. Off the steal, foul is called. Reaching on Walker. 7:13 left. Second half. 64-55 Kentucky. Look at the game summary. Kentucky continues to shoot well at 55%. Florida at 44. You see points in the paint. Big advantage to Kentucky. The story for Florida, they have come from 16 back. They're very much in this game, lots of time remaining. The story has been the play of Patrick Young, who leads the way with 21 points.
I think it's his best game of the season, Marv. He did have 25 against Arizona in an overtime win here in Gainesville back in December, but that was against a really small front line. This is coming against Anthony Davis and the #1 ranked Kentucky Wildcats. He's been really active, taking advantage of transition baskets, but also little hook shots like that one around the rim. And Young doing an excellent job while his team is struggling from the three-point line. He's 6 for 18 tonight. And you see the numbers, the rest of the team 10 for 31.
Steve, Florida is the nation's top three-point scoring team. They average 10 threes a game. In fact, overall offensively, they're second in the conference, averaging 77 points against, second to Kentucky, and they lead the nation with a school record 301 total three-pointers.
That's why they're a dangerous team to play against in the NCAA tournament, because they can get hot as Teague gets fouled going to the hole. You know, they're capable of really exploding offensively. And when they get going, and when they can use their pressure, the full court press, which we haven't seen much of today because of the opponent. And Billy Donovan's team, it's not a vintage Florida team, but I think it's a dangerous club from time to time.
Foul on Eric Murphy, who came over, switching off to Teague. Tuesday on CBS when it comes to solving mysteries. She can do anything but forget. Poppy Montgomery and Dylan Walsh star an unforgettable Tuesday only CBS.
I just like hearing you say Poppy Montgomery.
I enjoy it.
It rolls off your tongue.
Scotty Wilbekin now working the point. 7-0 run by Kentucky. Here's Murphy. That was deflected short and handled by Davis.
That was a play drawn up during the timeout by Billy Donovan, but you see the length and the range of this Kentucky defense. Another great play there from Jones.
Just under 6.5 remaining in the second half. Teague played by Walker. Lamb got to lose. Wilbekin on a screen. Shot clock down to 7. Davis on the roll. They have not been able to do much of that to this point here today.
Well, watching practice yesterday, Billy Donovan made such an emphasis about eliminating the rim runs, the free runs from Anthony Davis. And they've done a nice job most of the night of really bodying him up on those rolls, but that time Teague found him with a great pass.
Well, we saw a lot of those rim runs in the earlier meeting in Lexington. Irving Walker off the mark. Good job by a tough Patrick Young. And they get the new clock. Beal not able to hit. 13-point Kentucky lead. Coming up on 5 minutes remaining, second half. He finds the open man. Lamb not able to hit from downtown. Here is Walker on the run and then kicks it out.
Good job by Kentucky getting back. They've finally corralled Florida in transition the last 6-7 minutes, and I think that's why they have this lead now. We go back to this half-court possession. Kentucky just flying to the ball. Nothing easy for Florida.
Oh, Davis really came up with the steal. Walker for 3. Murphy on the follow is fouled by Kidd-Gilchrist. Florida having difficulty locating shots now.
They're just too quick and active and versatile defensively. I mean, here's what we're talking about with the range. We saw it with Jones. Now look at the recovery from Davis, clearly bothering Walker on that shot. And he doesn't get a shot block, but I mean, how many shots does he alter throughout the game? There's a great stat the other day that I read coming from Jay Billis talking about of his blocks. He's now, what, over 140, I think? Over 100 of them have been kept in play. Remember how Bill Russell used to block shots? He didn't swat them out of bounds. He'd keep them in play so his teammates could get them. So Jones, a very sophisticated shot blocker as well.
And that is very unusual. when you're able to keep the ball in play, because guys usually like to swat it into the stands. Florida had been scoreless in nearly 5 minutes. Miller for three. Those are tough rims.
Yeah.
30 seconds, timeout, Florida. Gators, 30-second time.
Florida calls for time. It's Kentucky 68, Florida 57. Back in a moment. Welcome back to O'Connell Center on the campus of the University of Florida in Gainesville. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr. Senior day for the Gators. They honored point guard Irving Walker, their all-time assist leader. Kentucky has led by as many as 16. Florida with a couple of runs late in the first half, concluding the half with a 10-2 spurt. Three-point attempt by Beal. And that leads to another timeout. 7 days away from Selection Sunday, and congratulations to the 3 schools that have already joined the field. Murray State, Belmont, UNC Asheville.
Murray State just hanging on in their conference tournament championship game yesterday against Tennessee State. A lot of bubble teams held their collective breaths there. How about UNC Asheville, second year in a row for the Bulldogs? Congratulations. We're going to see a lot of these conference tournaments this week. Such a great time of year in college basketball.
And our next game will involve sending another team to the NCAA. Illinois State taking on Creighton. Kentucky in possession. Just under 4 minutes to play in the second half. And the Wildcats have an 11-point edge. Florida did have a lead 6 minutes into the game. They were up by 1. Down by as many as 16. They did come back. Cut it to 2. Miller with a nice move, not able to connect. He'll get it down a point. Good transition here by Kentucky.
Almost like Florida should just force the issue in transition. You hate to say that because you want to get good shots, but in the half court, you can count on one hand the number of good shots the Gators have gotten today against Kentucky.
Walker got the step. Tip was missed by Young. Last touch by Young.
I think Billy Donovan's got to be really happy with the effort that his team has shown here. And it's been a tough go for Donovan this year with this club. They lost at Georgia last week. He was quoted after the game saying, I feel like I have to grab these guys by the shirt and drag them uphill sometimes to get them to play hard. But the effort has been there. It was there the other night against Vanderbilt. It's been here today as well. And that bodes well going into the SEC tournament.
Yes, against Vanderbilt, they fell behind early, but they came back, made it a game, but a poor shot selection down the stretch hurt the Gators. Shot clock to 5. Kentucky in no hurry with this double-digit lead. Jones not able to hit. Florida without a field goal, just 2 points over the last 6 minutes, both from the line. And they continue to have their difficulties.
Yeah, but I think Boynton's doing the right thing. I mean, if you don't get a shot early in the clock against these guys, you're in trouble.
Just under 2 minutes remaining. And John Calipari's team just playing the clock now.
5 turnovers the entire game. Just doing a great job of managing the game, keeping the crowd out of it. The only problem has been the transition defense at times, but they've cleaned that up here late.
35 second violation. Clock violation.
Whatever that number is.
Yes. Davis trying to force it. trying to use the screen. And then he's cut off, and he is rejected by Davis. That is number 6. Davis with the follow. He has come on strong in the second half. 19 points, 11 rebounds, 6 block shots. Walker able to hit. Final minute of play.
Boy, how about that sequence with Davis as Walker fouls him now? That was amazing. And for a guy his size to lead a team in transition, here's the defense, the block shot. Now all of a sudden he goes back to his high school days, becomes a point guard, and then follows up the miss with the slam. This kid can do it all.
Coming up, following Kentucky and Florida, Illinois State, and Creighton right here on CBS. Foul sends Teague to the line. It's the 1-and-1. 17th foul. Walker picking up his third. Marcus Teague, a 70% free throw shooter. He is the 5th straight highly regarded freshman to play the point. Run the show for John Calipari following Derrick Rose and Tyreke Evans at Memphis, and John Wall and Brandon Knight at Kentucky.
He's going to have a new one again next year, more than likely. The way things go at Kentucky, they just keep bringing him in.
There's been a host of one-and-dones, but Kentucky is on its way to an undefeated SEC season. Look out. Davis lands along Crest Row. They go to 16-0 and then 30-1.
Here's the replay. Probably the least amount of space between the sideline and the scorer's table of any arena I've seen. And it can be dangerous, as we saw there. Fortunately, Davis okay.
Bradley Beal of Florida lending a hand, and Davis to the free throw line. 71% at the line. When you talk player of the year, Steve, I think there are 2 guys in the conversation, although you probably could extend it, but it's Thomas Robinson of Kansas and Anthony Davis, the freshman for Kentucky.
Draymond Green for Michigan State will probably get some votes, but I agree with you. I think Davis and Robinson, the 2 standouts. Tough to go against Davis with what he's done and how much better he's gotten the second half of the season.
So Kentucky just working it down. A solid effort here by the Wildcats. Florida made a couple of runs. Kidd-Gilchrist with a nice move. The High Point men. Anthony Davis, 22 points. Terrence Jones with 19. Marcus Teague with 12. And Patrick Young leading Florida with 21. So this one is over. 74-59 victory for Kentucky. It means the Gators will be the number 4 seed in the SEC tournament. Number 1 ranked Kentucky goes to 30-1 and 16-0 in the SEC, and Florida 22-9 overall. For Steve Kerr, this is Marv Albus saying so long from Gainesville.